Welcome back, guys. So we are back on part 3 of our series. If you're new here, welcome to Bloom in Love. This is your first time here. My name is Tej. Here at Bloom in Love, we discuss all things personal development and life in general. So whilst you're here, please would you consider subscribing to the channel, turning on your post notifications so you get notified whenever a new post goes up. In the act of identifying our fears and how to overcome them, right? Last week we spoke about fear of failure. The link to the last 2 videos will be in the description. I've put everything into a playlist, so you can go back to the link to enjoy. But basically, last week we spoke about how every fear has a root, right? Every fear has a root, and because every fear has a root, like it has a root, like a tree is rooted, and then it grows into a tree with so much branches, and the fear branches out into different types. That's root fear, which for me personally, mine, like I said in the last 2 videos, my root of fear is feeling of unworthiness, because I always felt like I needed to prove myself all my life up until recently that I became aware of what the problem was, right? And now I'm consciously working on it. So the root cause of my own fear is unworthiness, and then it's branched into different types of fear, which is fear of failure, fear of vulnerability, fear of being seen, fear of just different types of fear, right? And why those fears branches out into other types of fear is because they are like coping mechanisms for us. Those are the defense mechanisms. It's the way our body tries to protect us from going through the kind of embarrassing or shameful situation we went. That was the root cause of that fear. But today we're discussing fear of imperfection. And you all know on this channel I always come to say recovering perfectionist here. This is one of my major fears. I'm always scared. I used to think that I was just being I thought it was being excellent. Actually, I thought it was me just being excellent, being concerned about the little details. But by the time I sat down and I really reflected and evaluated myself, I found out that it was my coping mechanism. It was how I cope. It was how my nervous system, my mind keeps me safe from going through any form of embarrassing or shameful or whatever it is that would make me feel, that will bring that feeling of unworthiness, that will make me feel that feeling of unworthiness. You all know I will go. We'll do not so for now. So fear of imperfection, which can also be fear of judgment. So what is fear of imperfection and how does it play out? And one thing I want you guys to note is the reason why what perfectionists are seeking, the thing that they're actually seeking is they are seeking to avert shame. As a perfectionist, if you want everything to always be perfect because you don't want to be judged, it's because you don't want people to see you a certain way, and the root of that particular thing is shame. The emotion you are trying to avert is shame. So perfectionists are seeking to avert shame. So fear of perfection can also be known, fear of imperfection rather, can also be known as not being good enough. Yeah. Fear of when you feel you're not good enough. Like I literally felt that all my life. Even though sometimes it was not conscious, like I didn't go about my life always thinking I'm not good enough. But it was a deep-rooted belief that I had that I didn't even know was there, that was literally controlling my decisions, controlling my life, controlling how I show up in the world, right? And fear of judgment, like I said in the last video, growing up I was compared a lot to not just my cousin but to a lot of people, my peers. I was compared a lot. So it may look like perfectionists seek flawlessness, which was what I actually thought I was doing. I felt like I was just trying to seek flawlessness, and then because I was this perfectionist, I had eyes for details, and people, my friends and bosses would always put me in charge of projects, and I would execute it, would come out really nice, and I'll get those accolades from them. I'll get the accolades basically, which makes me feel good because I was seeking validation from outside. They validated me. I feel good now. I feel worthy. Next time, I strive to make things perfect again. I strive to make things perfect again so that they'll keep validating me, basically. Yeah, so it may look like perfectionists seek flawlessness because they hold such high standard for their work, but behind the curtain, which was the veil that literally fell off my eyes recently, behind the curtain, it's just a mask for their fear of not being good enough and their need for validation. We are so afraid of something, and then from that fear, we become that exact same thing we are scared of. Like, it's so funny. We are scared of not being judged then we end up always judging ourselves. And because we're always judging ourselves, and it's how we feel comfortable, when we judge ourselves, we feel comfortable, we end up judging other people too. We're always judging other people. We like, it's a subconscious thing. You feel like the person is not doing, what the person did is not perfect. This is why most perfectionists, it's so hard to please them. Like, they don't even like to delegate. They would rather do the whatever it is themselves, because they feel like if any other person does it, it's not going to come out right. So they're afraid of being judged, and they end up becoming that thing that they are scared of, which is becoming a judgmental person. Recovering, like I said, recovering perfectionist. Yeah, they are perfectionists are really, really, really judgmental people, especially to themselves. They are very judgmental. So, you know what we do with the number 8. So 8 symptoms of perfectionism, which is on the flip side is fear of imperfection, right? So 8 symptoms of perfectionism. I would read through these 8. If you fall in between any of these, you're probably a perfectionist. Maybe you're yet to come to that acceptance that you're one. So the first one is perfectionists are frequently dissatisfied with their outcomes and never feel as though they have done enough. And this was like the straw that broke the camel's back for me. In late January, remember I said we're being vulnerable. I'm here to share everything, showing up on my good days and on my bad days, right? Yeah. So I did a vision board. I woke up with this, very huge vision of a vision board workshop, right? Because I've done vision boards and I know they work for me, and I was really excited to share it with other people that are interested. And yeah, I set it up, everything was going on nice. And then on the day of it was supposed to be a 2-day event. On the day that we're meant to go live, the first day, we had technical issues and we couldn't go live. And my God, I started questioning myself, because it didn't go like I had thought about every possible problem, but I never thought about that. Like, that wasn't, and that's one thing with professionals too. Like, I used to be someone that when I was in the film industry, producers actually liked these traits about me, right? They liked it. Because I want to be perfect, because I feel like if I do a very perfect job, the producer would want me to come back to do the job. So the fear of imperfection, the fear of losing my job, not being referred, I will sit and I'll read the movie script, think of every possible, like my friends can attest to this. If you go anywhere and then a problem comes and we need something, they will say, ask thebloominloveco, I'll have it. Most times I'll move with needle and thread, button, like, just ask me, I have it. That's how I always think about every possible way, that every possible problem that will come up, and I'll prefer a solution for it. That's how I used to roll. But now I am coming to a place where I have realized that I am a perfectionist, right? So I was a perfectionist. I'm recovering. I was a perfectionist, so I'm learning to let go of control. I'm learning to leave rooms for mistakes. So I actually didn't think about that possibility, and we couldn't go live. Because we couldn't go live, I had to shift the event. Is it forward or backward? Like, by a day. So and kind of affected this dissatisfaction. I started feeling like I could have done better. Like, a lot of negative self-talk was just playing in my head. And you know that at the end of the day, I felt like I didn't do up to 20% of what I planned to do. And I felt so bad. For 2 weeks, I was literally depressed for 2 weeks. The things I set out to do, like to follow up on the people, I ended up not doing it because I was so depressed. I was so on the path that I could not move forward to do even what I needed to do. And do you know that that's affected my body so much that I became sick. Like, I literally felt sick for, I think, about 2 weeks. I had pains all over my body. Like, it was a lot. But I'm grateful. That was, for me, that was that was the straw that broke the camel's back, because it was from when I got up from that place. I sat and I really evaluated myself, and I came to this place that, okay, this is the issue of unworthiness. That need to do things perfectly so that I don't feel unworthy, so that I don't feel that's my core wound, my core trauma, which is feeling of unworthiness, right? Number 2, you procrastinate and wait for the perfect moment to complete projects to achieve the best possible outcome. This was me. I would wake up in the morning, write out my blessed to complete list. I don't call it to do, I call it blessed to complete. Write out my blessed to complete list, and at the end of the day, I would end up not doing anything. I would procrastinate because of fear, because I want things to be perfect, and then I'll be so stressed. Whew, it's a lot. Then number 3 is when you receive negative feedback, you get offended. It's true, because I remember way back years ago when I feel like I received negative comments or feedback, I usually just sulk. I'll just be so quiet, withdrawn. Yeah, yes, I definitely suffered from this. Not in the recent years, but years ago, I suffered from this. Yes. In the recent years, I am so very open to constructive criticism. I am very open to you, someone constructively criticizing me, like just pointing me to say, this is something you're just helping me come to that awareness of saying, this is something you're doing wrongly, that is not serving you. Why don't you shift gears and then start doing this, right? I love when people are able to call me out, and then the call out feels very safe to my nervous system. Like someone will literally call you out, but it will not feel like you are being called out. It will feel so good, and you'll be so happy you actually had that conversation, right? Number four, in every part of your life, you feel constantly burdened with stress. This used to be me. Like I was always feeling stressed. I would wake up and I'm just angry for no reason. People would surgery smile. I'm like, what's there to smile about? I just feel stressed. I feel stressed mentally. I feel stressed physically. I just feel stressed emotionally. I just feel stressed. It feels like the world is just on my shoulders because I am I'm stuck. Remember, I said personally for me, when I know there's something I need to do, and then my fear is playing out, I know definitely, because I'm, going outside of my comfort zone. I know definitely going back to where I was is not an option. That is one thing with me. I never go back to that place, but I still don't go forward. I'm just stuck. And because I am stuck, I always feel stressed. Number five, you always require extra time to complete projects and you constantly miss deadlines. This used to be me. Perfectionists, they always miss deadlines because they want it to be perfect. They would go through it, read it over and over and over. I know, yes, excellence, like I said in the last video, excellence is different from perfectionism. Yeah, you feel burdened with guilt from past mistakes, and as a result, engage in negative self-talk. This was what happened to me with the vision board workshop I did. I was so, like, I couldn't. There was even a part of me that was even trying to see past what has happened, to say it has happened. Okay, what, like, my mind couldn't move past that. Like, I just couldn't move. I was just stuck. I had so many negativity in my head concerning myself. I called myself names that I would never allow people call me. It was crazy, right? It was crazy. I suffered a lot. So if you're here and you're in the community and you notice that for a while I've not been active on there, now you know why. I was just suffering from fear of perfectionism, but I'm recovering. Number seven, it's hard for you to trust others with your work, so you end up doing everything on your own. This kind of people, it's so hard for them to delegate. Number eight is feeling of inadequacy. That was what I remember always telling myself in that 2 weeks. I was always saying, I feel so inadequate. And then I reached out to some of my friends and I told them that I don't know what's going on with me, but I feel so inadequate because of this workshop I did, and it didn't go smoothly as I had seen it, because I've seen it as a perfect picture in my head, and it didn't run that way. So I've been thinking of myself. I've been saying to myself, I've been telling myself this limiting talks, this negative talks to say I feel so inadequate, and yeah, and then you have excessive need for reassurance. At some point, I felt like I needed to reach out to the participants of the workshop to ask them for their honest opinion. Because I felt like, oh, if they give me their honest opinion, I'll feel validated in some way. I was just seeking for validation. Honestly, just seeking to be validated, right? And it's not a bad thing. It's really not a bad thing. But most times, some of these things just like I said, sometimes they protect us, but sometimes they just work against us moving forward in our life. It just keeps us stuck in a particular way. Perfectionists don't have self-trust. Like, they don't trust in themselves. They're always asking people's opinion. Did I do this well? What do you think? Like, they don't have self-trust, and that's something I'm learning. If I woke up the day I filmed the last video, I woke up that morning and I just heard something drop in my spirit, and what I heard was, I trust me. And I just closed my eyes to really take that in, and it made so much sense. It resonated so much with me. Prior to that time, I had never been conscious of that statement, like, I trust me, I trust myself. I had to close my eyes and I said that to myself over and over for a few times. That I said that I trust me. Even today, I still said it. It's now part of my affirmation. I wake up every day, I'm like, I trust me. Even if I take a decision, or I feel led to do something and it doesn't come out the way I envisioned it to be, I still trust me. I trust me that there was a lesson to learn from that, right? So yeah, but perfectionists literally suffer from that self-trust. They need people to validate them for them to feel good. So because they need that validation, they want to do things perfectly. So it's a fear, and it plays out in the body as rapid heart rate. Like, I remember before, I used to always have. I'm surprised that I don't have like blood pressure issues, because my heart would race 1,000 times in a day. See myself sweating, sweating, panic attack, just going to panic attack, right? Because of the need for validation. These are the symptoms of perfectionism. There are other ones, but these are the ones I chose because they are some of the ones I really suffered a lot from, and I feel like a lot of people also suffer from it. So how to overcome perfectionism, right? The aim of this series is not just to bring us into awareness of what we're suffering, but also to hold each other through the journey of overcoming it. And we overcome these fears one moment per time, one day per time. Personally, I'm overcoming my fear of being seen, which is doing YouTube, to share the things that I know will help people, but because I am scared, because I have the fear of unworthiness, imposter syndrome, I'm always doubting myself. But now I'm like, no, I'm facing this fear. I'm facing this fear one moment per time, and that means doing one video one moment per time. And I'm really enjoying it. Like, yeah, one of the ways you overcome perfectionism is you go outside of your comfort zone by doing the exact opposite of what your mind is telling you, like the exact opposite of that perfection. So for me, for instance, I'm coming on YouTube, my mind will always tell me, ensure that you have a very good background, ensure that, because I was always trying to make it picture perfect, I wanted people to see my video and feel like, okay, this is a very good production. Yeah, which is not a bad thing, rather it's a very good thing. But this is what I have right now. Can I work with what I have while in the process of getting to where I need to be? So I take every of my excuse as fuel. Every excuse I give, I use that as fuel. Basically, I do the exact opposite of what my fear is telling me. Another way to overcome fear of imperfection is stop overthinking. Like I said, just stop overthinking. Once we want to do anything, there's always a thought that comes, what if? Don't think about it, just do it anyways. Do it regardless of. Feel the fear, but do it. I'm not saying don't feel the fear. I'm not saying act as if the fear is not there. No, feel the fear, but do it anyways, right? And then ask for help. Yeah, ask for help. That was what I did when I was really in that place of feeling so inadequate. I was literally depressed for that 2 weeks. I had to reach out for help, right? And I'm grateful I got to meet someone who helped me see what it was, and here we are. I'm facing my fear. So delegate. Yeah, if perfectionists don't like to delegate, so please delegate and don't micromanage. Let the person, give room for people to learn, give room for people to grow. So delegate, give room for mistake, give grace. If you can give grace to yourself, we said perfectionists are always judgmental to themselves. They don't give grace to themselves. If you can give grace to yourself, you'll be able to give grace to the other person. So delegate. Then do things at the first thought. Yeah, do things at the first thought. The first thought that comes, just do it. Then know the difference between goal and expectations. Yeah, like I said, my goal for this video is to show up. The expectation is how many people will view it, how many people will comment, how much the video will do. So know the difference between goal and expectations. Goal is something to aim for or a desired result. Expectation is a strong belief that something will happen, like it must happen. This perfectionist belief of my way or the highway, it must be my way. That's the expectation. But stick to goals. Goals will keep you, like my goal is to keep showing up, and so far I've been showing up one video per time, one moment per time. So instead of, if I was focusing on the expectation of how much views I want, which is out of my control, I'm sure I would not be here filming this video today. So yeah, then recognize perfectionist thinking, yeah, and challenge it. So thinking like, is this really as when you start feeling that perfectionist thinking coming up, I'm not enough, this is not enough, I should do better. Ask yourself questions like, is this really as important as I'm making it to be? Is the world going to end if it's not perfect? Like questions like this, just ask yourself this kind of questions, and you see that it's all in your head. Perfectionism is internalized oppression. It is self-abuse of the highest order. You are literally oppressing yourself. You're literally abusing yourself because of the amount of negativity that is always going on inside of you. Like, you think so low of yourself, you think so bad of yourself, you always feel like you have to prove it's crazy. It's actually self-abuse. Affirmation I have a few affirmations, because as a perfectionist, as a recovering perfectionist, this is what I am going through. So I personally have a lot of affirmations on this, and yeah, I thought to share a few of them. So I have 5 of them. So the first one is, I let go of the need for people's approval. I let go of the need of people's approval. I love and accept myself. Yes, I love me and I accept me. I am enough. This is enough. I have enough. I own my story and I trust my process. Yeah, I own my story. I own my YouTube story. Nobody's going to have this story for me. The last one, which is the one I currently just added, the one I said I woke up with a few days ago. I trust me. I have faith in myself. I trust me and I have faith in myself. Strive for progress and not perfection. So it's process, progress, and not perfection. And I hope that this has blessed you. And I know that the people that this video is for will meet it in divine timing. I release this video out with my love, with all of my love, with all of my light. I am so grateful to have you guys. And thank you for always being here. Thank you for always sharing and reflecting your beautiful words to me. I love reading from you. Please share your comments, share this video. There are other people suffering from this that, and most of the times we suffer from these things in silence. We don't tell people. So share these. There might be someone in your timeline that actually needs this video. So yeah, thank you all so much. Please subscribe to my channel. I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you. Until the next video.